Hey everybody, it's your brother Zen, and it's time for another timeless pick a card reading. And I'm excited for this reading because we're going to do a little twist around it. The theme of this is messages for your heart from spirit and from your shadow. And the little twist is that for the messages from spirit for your heart, you choose between either 1, 2, or 3, and then for messages from your shadow, you'll choose from A, B, and C. Of course, you can choose as many of the letters and numbers as you want, but I'll have timestamps for everything listed in the description box of the video down below. So start off by choosing the number, and then after you're done with that, choose the letter, and the combination will give you a unique message, even more than normal. So I'm excited for this. So we're going to jump in to number 1 right now. All right, if you chose reading number 1 for the messages from spirit for your heart, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off pulling a card here from the Messenger Oracle. And just to see what Creator and Spirit would like you to know about your heart right now. All right, so let's take a look and see what comes forward first. Okay, it's going to be this one right here. And let's take a look and see what we have got. You got Follow the Moon. What a perfect card for the heart and for the emotions, of course. The Moon card in the tarot is all about deep diving into your heart, into your emotions, into the unknown. You know, Mother Luna is the nurturer, rules over Cancer sign. And so there is this embracing, nurturing of your heart that's coming in here. Like for you to nurture your heart in your own special way. You know, out of anyone in our lives, we're the ones that know how we want to be loved and how we are seeking to be loved, right? No one else, we leave it up to them. It's always going to fall a little bit short because no one knows us like we know ourselves, right? So let's take a look here and see what message comes in here with this card. And it says 3/4 of Gaia's surface is covered in water, and the moon's pull can lift the Earth's oceans at the equator and carry them along in her wake. 2/3 of the human body is also water, and therefore you are also subject to her power. As she waxes and wanes, so do you. Take note. Follow the moon cycles and take note of how you think and feel as her light increases and decreases. Take time to explore and understand her influence upon both your body and your emotions. So I do like that for you because, you know, like we were just talking about, the moon does impact us. You know, if you follow my channel, I do weekly energy updates, and during the full moon weeks and the new moon weeks especially, I talk about new moon wishes and how you can use the energy of the moon to bring in new things. Also, the full moon, which is pictured here, of course, expands and explodes our emotions, whatever we're feeling at the time. So they are especially important to understand and be aware of what emotions we are choosing during a full moon period, usually 3 days before and after. But if you have water in your chart or have a lot of water, water moon, but a water in your chart, it is important for you to be aware because it might impact you a week before and after too. So really whatever you're focusing on with your emotions around these cycles is very, very important. And also during a full moon, you can do kind of a unveiling of things and releasing of thing type of ceremony too. So I really love this. Spirit is mentioning and giving you this awareness around the moon's impact on your heart and your emotions and what you can do to help choose joy, choose unconditional love, choose gratitude, if you want those things to expand, because they always are expanding anyway, whatever we're focusing on. But during this moon cycle, they're saying, boom, be very, very aware of that. We're also going to pull from the Healing with the Fairies Oracle and see what else Spirit and Creator would like you to know around your emotions, around your heart right now. So what else for those that chose reading number 1, please? All right, I do want this one right here. And you have positive expectations. So I like that positive energy, like we're talking about, whatever you focus on grows. And let's see what comes in for this one for you. So the card meaning is about keeping up your hopes, your dreams, your affirmations, your visualizations and prayers, as they will be wonderfully manifested right now or during the moon cycles, right? So don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle occurs. You've planted the seeds of manifestation with your positive thoughts and emotions, yet you may be discouraged occasionally because you aren't seeing immediate results. You start to have pessimistic thoughts and wonder whether your faith is unjustified. Hold on to your faith, though. Although your manifestation is taking longer than you'd hoped, it is coming to you. You certainly don't want to cancel or cloud your manifestation with miscreations that come from negative thoughts. At your earliest convenience, go outside in nature. Even a backyard or a small park will do. Mentally converse with your friends, the fairies. They're absolute expert at manifestation. Tell them about your doubts, your fears, and disappointments, as well as your hopes and your dreams. Ask the fairies to help you release any negativity you may have and feel them surround you with healing love and light. The affirmation for this card is, I am safe, confident, and secure. I feel joyful about my future. So perfect combination here. Understanding the cycles of the moon, when the moon is its darkest, when it, is about to go into the new moon. So, with that, the new moon is when we plant new seeds, we make our wishes, and things start to unfold. We alter things, we change things. Then we have a full moon culmination, which is when we're at the moon's energies at its climax of empowerment, manifestation, and then things start to fall away. That's when we do the releasing. That's when we do the getting rid of the things that no longer serve us to plant and get the ground ready to plant new seeds, which happens at a new moon. So it's understanding the cycles, understanding the power of the moon and the energy upon our heart and where we're investing our emotional energies. So I like that. And then we're also going to pull from the chakra love cards here, see what else they'd like to add in here for you. So what else for those that chose reading number 1? And we'll pull some tarot. What else, please? Okay. So these two will be the ones. And you started off here, with chakra balance. So balancing things out, that things do balance with the cycles of the moon. And it says, out of chaos comes creation. And it talks in here about cycles down there too. So perfect with them showing here the definitely the focus and the emphasis on trusting the cycles, trusting that things balance out. So there's 4 seasons, and all the 4 seasons happen on purpose, for purpose. We have fall, when things start to fall from the tree, comes to the ground, it starts cleansing and clearing things. During the winter, we get the moisture and it soaks all of that stuff that fell from the tree. It deteriorates, it breaks down and goes into the soil to prepare the soil for spring, when the plants and everything grow and the seedlings come out. And then summer's when all the huge growth comes with all the sun, which then leads to fall, which things fall from the tree we harvest, and it goes through those cycles. But every cycle has its purpose, and we can embrace that. So I like that. And then you have the crown chakra with oneness. And that says, you are part of the universe and always will be. So you are part of all the cycles of all the universe that come in here. And I really like that coming in here for you too, because all this purple here is this crown, chakra. You can trust that, when it talked about, is your faith unfounded? When we learn to trust the Creator and trust that everything unfolds for us, we move from going, why is this happening to me, to why is this happening for me? Trusting the cycles, knowing that things get removed out of our life and out of our path to make space for new things and allow us to move forward into the next season, right? So I like that. We're also going to pull from the Naked Heart Tarot here and just get some additional information here on what Spirit would like you to know around your heart. So trusting the cycles, trusting everything is unfolding here for you. Okay, I feel like we do want these two. And what else, please? Okay, they did want this one, and this one right here. All right, so let's see what we've got coming in here. Let me just scooch these over. And we'll start with this one right here. Maybe. There we go. Yeah. Well, here's the heart, the Three of Swords. Swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our expectations, and I call this the expectations equals disappointment card, or the heartbreak card. And it basically says that, when we have all these supposed tos and shoulds and need tos and have tos that unfold in our life, it's why we come here. It's part of our cycle that we do come down here to experience what it might feel like to feel heartbroken, to be disappointed. And when we realize that we came down here on purpose to experience that, we also understand that our heart, our true heart, can never be broken. That the prick that we have in our heart, that fear, that heartbreak feeling, is like when someone startles you and goes boo, right, and scares you, and you have that prick in your heart that your body's going into fight or flight mode real quick to try to stay safe. And when you realize it was a joke or that it was silly, like you saw a hanging bathrobe out of the corner of your eye and you thought someone was standing there, and then you realize, oh, it's just my bathrobe. Then you're like, okay, you calm down. But emotional monsters that we feel, the reason our heartbreak continues is we loop those emotions over and over and over again. We reignite it because when we get distracted from heartbreak, we don't feel it. And then we remember, oh, that's right, that person betrayed me, or they're not in my life anymore. I'm not going to find, the fear of, I'm not going to find love again. I'm not going to find this again. Whatever the fear is that is ignited, it just spins and spins and spins. If we can step out of that cycle, again, whatever emotions that we're focusing on are what continue. And when we realize that it was happening because of an emotional monster mainly, then we're able to step outside of our heartache. We're able to step out of feeling it's personal. And we'll dig in more here around what these fears are, is what they're telling me. So let's go into the next card here. Yeah. So we have the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is bringing us back to the focus of the energy. The Ace of Wands lets you know that, wands are our drive, our ambition, our passion, our overall energy. And it shows you your power. Whatever you focus on is what grows and expands. And so when we focus on, like it was talked about the negativity, when we focus on what we feel is missing out of our life, what's in our life that we don't want, that we, fear may come in or leave our lives, then that is what grows and that's what expands, especially around the moon cycle, like especially on a full moon is when it's really extra expanded. But if we instead move our focus from focusing on all those lower vibrational negative types of energies, we focus on what we're grateful for, what we do want in our life, focusing on unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter, then those things expand instead. So they're giving you some wonderful ways to transform out of heartache and heartbreak into something that's positive, and especially around a full moon, that expands greatly. Yeah, and we have the movement of pentacles. So this is definitely, it's the Knight of Pentacles. It's the slowest moving knight out of them all. And it basically reiterates what I was talking about the 4 seasons. Inward, our mind, our emotions, our energy can change like that. But the outside world has those 4 seasons we were talking about. So it takes more time for things to change in the outside world. It's a reminder that we don't change from the outside in, but we change from the inside out. So kind of a little bit about patience as things unfold and as things transform. Just know that you change from the inside out, and that's where you do your energy work in the changing of things. And you have the 6 of Cups. Cups are our emotions. And the 6 of Cups is kind of the nostalgia. It's the, memories. And for your reading here, it represents transforming old emotions and old pains, because when we look back at old memories, every moment is either an emotional choice of unconditional love or of the fear of losing conditional love. And when we think about a past memory of a situation we had with another individual, if it's not of unconditional love, then it's of this fear. And when we realize that when a human goes into fear mode, like we talked about with that fight or flight mode, then what happens is, like that prick in our heart, we go into that fight or flight. And when we do that, our human, intelligent, caring, compassionate part of our human self is out, because it pushes that out of our brain, because it doesn't want us to stand and think and do all that. Our body wants us to react to get out of danger. So we kind of go into what I call a cat mind. It hisses and attacks, it hisses and runs away, or it hisses and attacks and then runs away. But it's not a human that we're interacting with. And when we realize that person is panicking, they're feeling unsafe or out of control, and so their little child 2-year-old self is in charge with that cat, trying to get back to feeling safe, trying to feel back in control, then we realize their actions are not about us, they were about them and their fears. And so we start to look at them differently, we start to look at the situation differently, and we start looking at ourselves differently. This emotion, these old painful memories, can be transformed with that awareness, and I like it. And then you have the Lover's card. Dun, dun, dun. And the Lover's card is the basically the emotional choice awareness card. It allows us to know that within each moment, we get to choose either between an emotion of unconditional love or the fear of losing conditional love. This is allowing us to see that we might have been told about when this happens, we're supposed to feel this way, should feel this way, must feel this way. Whatever those popular opinions we were given when we were younger, it tells us that that's the way that we are, the opinion of how we were supposed to feel. We took on that opinion as our own. Being children, we know no better. And then it became our habit to feel that way, and then our reaction. So we can retrain and create a new habit of how we want to feel around situations. Like when we're betrayed. Like if someone doesn't, keep up with the agreement we had going into a relationship of we're going to be faithful to one another and not sleep with anyone else, right? And then someone does. And even though they might have had the greatest intentions to stick to that, when they go into fight or flight mode, they become an alley cat, and they're just out there trying to feel safe and in control again. And sometimes that is what humans do. They're like, well, this person is attracted to me. I feel safe. I feel important. Whatever it may be, I'm not excusing the actions. I'm just saying this is how we react and go into that, right? And so when we're in that mode, we might choose that. But when we realize that we don't have to choose those ways, that might have been our habit of feeling like when someone does something like that, that I'm supposed to feel betrayed. I'm supposed to feel heartbroken. I'm supposed to feel unworthy and less than. All this emotional stuff that we're taught, I can choose instead to go, what? Their actions were not about me. That was them expressing their fears. So I really like the clarity and the power that is coming in with your message from Spirit. So that is the spiritual message for you that chose number 1. Now, don't forget, now you get to choose either A, B, or C to get the second part of your message, which is what your shadow self wants you to know about your heart. So go ahead and select that. All the timestamps are listed in the description box of the video down below. If you chose reading number 2 for what Spirit has to tell you for your heart, then this is the reading for you. We're going to start off pulling a card from the Messenger Oracle. We'll see what's the first thing that Spirit wants you to know about your heart. All right. So what would you like those that chose reading 2, right? That's going to be the one right there. Just switch these out and let's see what we got here. So you have Make the Sacrifice. Beautiful. Interesting card there. And with a dragon and a skull. All right, so let's put this over here and let's see what message comes in here for you first. And it says, you won't achieve the outcome you desire if you're unwilling to act upon your intentions. It's not as simple as wanting something to happen or believing that it will happen. You have to make it happen. And to make it happen requires that you be willing and ready to do whatever is necessary, no matter the sacrifice. For everything you desire, you must give of yourself in return. So I like that message coming in here because it's not all about, wishing, especially with our heart. Is there something in our heart? Is it love? Is it a dream? Whatever it may be, our heart's desire, are we really willing to sacrifice for it? Right? What a great question, because it's then that we know if it's something that we really want, or is it something that someone else told us that we should be wanting. It's like when you're given a dream or you're told, this is the kind of partner you're supposed to be with and how your relationship is supposed to be and blah, 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 blah. Or this is the dream job or the dream of how you want to live and all of that stuff. We're given a lot of opinion when we're younger about it all. But when it comes down, when the rubber meets the road, are we really wanting to invest the energy into those things? Because if we don't, and we wake up in the morning going, oh, great, I got to go live my dream today, or this is what I got to go pursue. If we're feeling that way, then that is not our heart's desire. And that is one great litmus test to tell us and show us what is our true desire. Are we willing to make a sacrifice for it? Then we do, like living your dream. An example is like doing what I do now. I was in corporate life for over 20 years and I had a particular company. And when COVID hit, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I waiting to live the dream that I want? Am I waiting to die? People were dying from COVID and from everything else. And I'm like, I'm not willing to just exist and to, live up to the expectations and the things that I felt were on me. I want to live my dream. I was willing to make a sacrifice with getting rid of a lot of stuff, downsizing, getting rid of my vehicle, doing a lot of things where I was like, before those would be absolutely no, I cannot give up those things. I'm supposed to have all that. But when I compared it to living my dream, if it was going to stand in between me and living my dream, it was very easy to make the sacrifice. So I love this energy coming in. We're also going to see here with the Healing with the Fairies Oracle, what else they want you to know here around sacrifice and obtaining your heart's desire. So I like this. Let's see what else for those that chose. Okay, they do want this top one right here. If I can separate it. There we go. And let's see what else we have. So we've got the quiet time. I like it. We'll put it right next to this one here. Scooch it over a little bit, and let's see what comes in with this one for you. So the card energy is that you need some time alone, away from other people and environmental noises. Even a brief time would be extremely rejuvenating for you. It says sometimes we're not even cognizant of the detrimental impact of stress in our life. We become so accustomed to living in an uproar that we're not aware when our body is telling us that it is on overload. The symptoms include illness, unusual fatigue, depression or anxiety, appetite and weight issues, addictions, sleep disorders, irritability, and a desire to withdraw from life. By drawing this card, you're being asked to honor your body and your soul by spending some quiet time alone as soon as possible. This might mean going on a silent retreat, spending the day at a lake, a beach, or in the mountains, taking a hike, or visiting a day spa. You could even turn off your phone. What? Put a do not disturb sign on your door, take an afternoon nap, a long bubble bath, or read your favorite book. Regardless of the form that your quiet time takes, the fairies just ask that you keep this promise to yourself without delay. The affirmation for this card is, I now give myself permission to be silent within and without. My mind is quiet and I enjoy my own company. And I really like these cards coming out together here. Because the combination of the two really is about, all the noise, all the impact it has around stress, trying to live up to a dream that's not ours is what brings in all this fear of not fitting in, of not living up to success and being who we think we're supposed to be. Taking time out, really trying to understand what it is your heart's desire. And then the sacrifices that you make don't feel like the sacrifices of your health and your mind and your body and everything else. The sacrifice doesn't feel like a sacrifice anymore because you're excited about living your dream. So I really like that. We're also going to pull from the Chakra Love deck here and see what additional messages they have for you. So what else for those that chose reading number 2? Okay, that one. What else? Okay, and that one. So start with this one, and you've got Foundation. Beautiful card. This is the root chakra, which says the foundation is what the castle of your soul is built upon. And I really like that for this combo here because, the foundation of your life, when it is built on the shifting sands of, all those fears of losing conditional love, you just feel very rocky when we're defining ourselves by all those, small t truths, those fears of losing conditional love of the outside world, all those opinions. We just feel unstable because we're defining ourselves by all these opinions of what is supposed to be around relationship and situations and things and career and education and blah, 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 right? Well, when our foundation is someone else's dream, that's why we feel rocky. That's why it feels out of control. But when you find your heart's desire, your true heart's desire, that's not influenced by anyone else's opinion, but you're really taking this quiet time and connecting to the higher realms, your high heart, understanding what is it you want to pursue, that becomes your foundation. It becomes your true north on a compass. Whatever doesn't fit into that, then it gets sacrificed. And it doesn't feel like a sacrifice when you're doing it, when you realize it's propelling you towards your dream. But it makes it very much more easier to identify what is for and not for your dream. Once you identify your dream, that becomes your foundation. And I love that. Then you have the heart chakra with connection, which says, Father Divine and Mother Earth make love in your heart. So again, connecting to your high heart, they're the ones that are showing you what your true desire is, your heart's desire, right? So getting into your heart chakra really helps bring a lot of clarity around it. Now we're also going to pull from the Naked Heart Tarot, and let's see what else they have for you. What else does Spirit have for you regarding your living your heart's desire? Okay, they do want that top one there. All right, so we'll start with these two over here. And of course, we get the Temperance card, which is all about balancing. It's understanding and cutting away. Normally, there's like a giant sword, the Ace of Swords, that stands up in the middle of that, which is about connecting to the capital T truths of the higher realm that are rooted in unconditional love. And it allows you to see things from a different perspective. In the beginning, it's really out of balance. We have all these rules and opinions, the small T truths about who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be living, and it's really weighed down because we haven't connected yet to our higher self, to our higher heart, to determine what it is we truly want to do. And so we're being ruled by fear instead of by unconditional love. But the more you connect with your high heart and your heart chakra, connecting to those truths that come from up above, then we start slicing away those small T truths, those opinions, and things start to balance out. And so there's this wonderful balancing of the upper realms and the lower realms that comes in. Yeah, and here we go. So these are all those small T truths I was just talking about that are weighed off on one scale. And that rat, they're not dead. They're just sick and tired and exhausted of being in the rat race, trying to live up to that long list of expectations around everything. And so the 10 is a perfect card to come in here with all that, because it means you are ready to let go of those thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that no longer serve you, that instead made you feel restricted and, like I said, exhausted, investing all this energy in the outside world, trying to live up to that long list. Yeah, and here's the Four of Pentacles. This is a great card because the Pentacles is about your outside world and it's about your worth. And the Four of Pentacles, this squirrel has this beautiful journey of trying to define itself by the outside world. And when it does, it feels very unstable because it's told to look into relationships and situations and things to define itself, because of all those swords were telling them that. But it feels unstable because all those things are unstable. Relationships, people change, they pass away, they walk away. So relationships, very unstable. Situations like job and, career, education, social status, just situations we can get into, they never stay the same, right? So they're unstable. And then, of course, things, our bodies, our bank accounts, our possessions, all of those things, they eventually break down, blow up or burn down, deteriorate, or get stolen. So all of those things of the outside world, very unstable. Eventually we get disappointed and exhausted enough that we turn inward and upward to find that which is eternal and unconditional and very stable. It's the eternal unconditional love of the higher realms, of the creator, of source, whatever you believe the higher power is. Their love for us is eternal. It never ends. It is unconditional, meaning there's nothing we can do to lose it, and there's nothing that we can do to gain more of it. We have 100% of it available to us just because of who we are. Nothing that we have to do all that. So talk about stable, right? Eternal and unconditional. Beautiful, beautiful foundation. And then your worth changes through all this. You stop fearing trying to fit into all those things because you're finding this wholeness and this fullness from within that takes you forward. Yeah, and here's the 5 of Swords. So again, more swords, more thoughts, beliefs, and mindsets coming in. And the 5 is this great number of change. So as you connect to the capital T truths, you no longer feel like you have to prove yourself to anyone else. You stop policing. You don't have this long list of rules. Like when you have yourself under these, by golly, you're going to make sure everyone else does them too. But when you find freedom, you release everyone else. So you let everyone else believe what they want to believe and do what they want to do because you're busy here focusing on your capital T truths and taking steps towards your dream. You're not worried about other people because you're using all that energy to move towards your dream and your heart's desire instead. Yeah, more swords. So all the swords, all the thoughts, beliefs. This is the heartbreak card, the disappointment card, which is, expectations equal disappointment. When we have this long list saying that all these things out here are supposed to make me feel full and whole and complete, disappointment, right? So all of this is pointing you inward and upward to show that your heart doesn't have to feel the pain of fear, because that's what the prick in our heart of heartbreaking is when we have these beliefs that if all this doesn't happen, it means I'm unlovable and rejectable. It has to do with our worth. So a beautiful journey here, Spirit letting you know the power that you have to connect to the capital T truths through your heart. And you can, once you identify what your heart's desire is, then all this stuff falls to the wayside, and all that energy you were using to try to do this instead gets returned back to you, and you get to invest it towards living your dream. The scales balance. You have a new sense of your worth in relation to the outside world. It starts with some quiet time here and connecting to your heart and the higher heart. So I love this for you. Now, it doesn't stop here. This was just part 1. You do have part 2. So choose either option A, B, or C. And all those timestamps are listed down in the description box below. So choose now and go to the second part of your reading. If you chose reading number 3 for the spirit messages regarding your heart, then this is your message. And we're going to start off with a card here from the Messenger Oracle, just to see what Spirit wants you to know right now about your heart. All right. So what do you have for those that chose reading number 3, please? Okay, nope. Okay, they do want that one right there. So let's start off here. You have wash away your burdens. Hallelujah, right? So let's put that up here and let's see what message comes in here for you. Washing away your burdens. What is on your heart? All right. So it says, as you have moved through life, you have undoubtedly experienced moments that have inspired feelings of regret, remorse, shame, and guilt, right? You've made promises you've not been able to keep. You've judged and blamed yourself and others. You've burdened yourself with feelings born of acts that cannot be undone, which still bind you to the past. It's time to forgive. It's time to lie down in the healing waters and let them wash away your burdens so you can move forward with spirit cleansed. How beautiful. Absolutely. I know forgiveness sometimes, especially if it's forgiving others, right? It's like a dirty word. But recently I read something somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it, but it talked about, that we're no longer willing to be a vessel of pain because of someone else's action, someone else's words. We're ready to forgive a person, not forgive the act, but forgive a person or forgive ourselves, because we're ready to let that burden go. We're ready to let that vessel be filled up with unconditional love instead of pain. So I really like this coming in here, because this is a release of the burden, release of these negatively charged, lower vibrational emotions that are rooted in fear, because we're done with that. We're ready to get that, angst, that, lava that's bubbling below the surface. We're ready to get that out because we don't want to have it impact us anymore. So I really like that. We're also going to pull here from the Healing with the Fairies Oracle, see what they'd like to add into that. So what else for those that chose reading number 3, please? What else? Okay. All right, there we go. And you've got the trust your intuition. I like that coming in here. We're going to put that right next to it here. And let's see what message comes in here. So it says, it is safe for you to follow your heart's guidance. You know deep down what to do. And this card asks you to trust and follow this inner intelligence. Has your inner guidance been trying to get your attention lately? Perhaps a gut feeling is tugging at you like a seeing eye dog. An inner voice has been screaming at you, or you've had dreams charged with profound emotions and symbolism lately. By drawing this card, you're being urged to pay careful attention to these various forms of intuition. Now is not the time to ignore these messages or procrastinate. Trust this inner wisdom, just as you would if it came from a respected teacher. Know that you aren't imagining the guidance. Its powerful and repetitive voice is a sign that you are truly getting clear and trustworthy messages that are worth following. The affirmation for this card is, I trust and follow my feelings and thoughts without question or delay. I like this for you because with this combination, it's telling me that lately you have been getting messages coming from, you've been noticing it in the outside world, you've seen it with your eyes, whether it's, bumper stickers or license plates or signs or a rogue email or junk mail, something somewhere that you've been getting messages, also emotional messages, mental messages, things just popping into your head that are all pointing you back to these burdens to be let go. Because your inner child has these charged emotions that they've been trying to get to your attention with, that have been there since usually it's like 7 years old and younger. And these have just been rippling out, even through all this water. It shows these emotions rippling. And how we know we're ready to start looking into them is we start seeing things come into our life, because our brain can only handle so much. So our inner child and our higher self and your intuition, it's going to bring situations in the outside world where you might see like 5 of your friends are going through a situation that's triggering old emotions. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the same situation. It's just the emotion is the same. So when you close your eyes and you look at this feeling that you're feeling of betrayal at work, like, you got backstabbed by a coworker and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to me. And then you think, well, when's the last time I felt that way? And you're like, oh, when I was betrayed in a relationship. Well, when's the last time I felt it before then? You go back and you go back and you go back. Eventually, you'll go back to feeling something similar to that when you were young. 7 years old and younger, like I said, is when your emotional body is being created. And so when you go back and look at that, you're able to get to the charged emotion that your emotional inner child either didn't know what to do with the emotion, or it felt guilty about feeling that way towards a parent, a sibling, someone that they're not supposed to feel a certain way. And you get to become the parent. You become the perfect parent that we were looking for as a child. That, by the way, no human child ever has a perfect parent in their lives. So if you're a parent, don't feel bad. You're able to go back to that little child self and then pick yourself up. Give yourself that unconditional love, that unconditional acceptance, that unconditional time that you were needing as that child. You don't have to explain them away going, well, this is why you were feeling that way, and this is blah, blah, blah. You just give the space, the love, acceptance, and attention to them and allow them to feel and flow and that charged emotion that the little inner child had gets released, and you get all that energy back. You integrate the experience, but you don't have to have that charged emotion anymore. So trust your intuition and your gut as it's leading you to release these burdens. We're also going to pull from the Chakra Love deck here and see what else Spirit and Creator have for you regarding your heart here. Okay, they do want that one, and they do want that one. So first of all, here you have safety. And I like this. This is your root chakra. And it says, in the hurricane of life, a strong foundation will keep you safe. So, it's when our little inner child feels unsafe or out of control that it goes into fear mode. And it has all these triggers, these emotional triggers that, are what you're dealing with here. So you're coming into the strong foundation of finding the love and the support and the time from an unconditionally loving being, your higher self, you as this adult self. You're gaining this relationship with your inner child, allowing it to feel safe around you. Your inner child feels like your adult is a separate entity. And so it knows everything that you've thought and done. So like when you do things that you don't want to do, your inner child goes, no, I don't trust you because you say you want to do it, but you really don't. And I know it. It's being more true to yourself allows your inner child to also trust you more and to feel safe, to trust you more and to feel safe. So trust, which is your third eye chakra, your intuition. Trust your intuition. It is in contact with a higher source of knowledge. So reiterating the same message. And yeah, trust your intuition. I mean, word for word. You just can't make that up. I love it. Right. We're also going to pull here from the Naked Heart Tarot. I'm going to see what else Spirit would like to add here regarding this heart. Right, so what else for those that chose reading number 3, please? Okay. What else? All right. So let's take a look here and see what they have. So your first card here is the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is, swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And the Nine of Swords is known as like the insomnia card, the nightmare card. One of these cards I think talked about paid attention to your dreams. I believe it was this one. So, that's when our brain is on, in sleep mode, that's when our spirit, our intuition comes in and they start bringing things to our face for us to deal with. So I really feel like if you've been having things come up in your dreams that seem like nightmares, embrace it. Understand that it's your higher self, your intuition, that's bringing things forward for you to be able to release. Because what this is saying is that you have these fears of losing conditional love, that have been on your mind, that are what's on your mind all day long. It's on your mind when you're trying to go to sleep, which is keeping you from going to sleep. When you do go to sleep, you dream about it, and you wake up in the middle of the night, you're thinking about it. You go back to sleep, you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you're thinking about. Well, it's to be released. It's to really get to the root of this fear, the root of this energy, so that you can release it. The 10 of Swords, which comes after this, is like you're to the point of exhaustion, of trying to live up to all those expectations of the outside world, all those thoughts and beliefs, mindsets, the shoulds, the supposed tos, the need tos, the have tos, the musts, all those opinions that you were given. And it's this release that's coming in. Realize that a lot of our triggers that we're feeling and emotions don't have to do with what's happening now. They're just triggers and things that happened to us when we were younger. Because, I said, our emotional body is developed between 7 years old and younger, even into the womb. And then 7 years old to 14 years old is when our mind body, our mental body is created, and it pushes our emotional body down into the subconscious, and it develops the mind type of thing. So you can look at those. Yeah, and here we have the 2 of Swords. So more swords, and this is about decision making. This is about reflecting. Every moment is either a mental choice of a story that we apply to whatever situation we're going through. It's either a story of the fears of losing conditional love, or of the higher realms, that of unconditional love. Now, growing up, we're given a whole boatload of these stories of what something is supposed to mean, should mean, need to mean, have to mean, must mean. And that's what gives us a lot of conflict inside, because our higher heart is saying, our intuition is going, no, that's not what it means. So there's this figuring out of that every moment is a story of what something means, and it's one or the other, fear or unconditional love. And you get to trust your intuition and dive deeper in here to understand more of what it is. And this is where the burdens get released, because we start to connect to capital T truths, which is what we do with the Strength card here. The Strength card represents the lion is like our human self, and the wings and the infinity symbol represent our higher self. Normally there's a maiden on the card. But this is a story of before we came down here, we've got our soul, and it chooses, I want to be this lion down here. And so the lion comes down veiled from the knowledge of our higher self. And it's so hungry, it's so thirsty. It's taught to seek itself in the outside world, and relationships and things and situations are told that it's supposed to fill it up and make it feel whole and complete, but it doesn't, because relationships, people change, they pass away, they walk away. Situations never stay the same, things break down, deteriorate, all that stuff is empty. And it eventually gets to the point it's so desperate in seeking things in the outside world that it becomes hangry, it's hungry, angry, and it doesn't know what to do. Well, that's the time when we have our awakening, and our higher self, which is always aware of our human self, comes down. It doesn't come down to kill off the lion, cage it to protect people from it, or try to manipulate it with like a whip and a chair like they do in circuses and whatever, because our higher self knows what our lion self, our human self, is searching for is the unconditional love from up above. And so it comes down, and it just so happens that conveniently, our higher self is made of unconditional love. It's a powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of that unconditional love that is able to give our human self what it's been looking for all along. And so the lion now is aware of our higher self, because our higher self doesn't come down like Superman and rescue him and then fly away. Now that our human self is aware of our higher self, they join hand in paw and are able to walk together in a much different way. Intuition, connecting to this true love that we are. And we realize everything we've been looking for before was untrue, it was unfulfilling, and we find what we're looking for. And we move from this roaring, hangry lion in the jungle to a purring little lion cub in the lap of our higher self, feeling full and whole and complete. We feel safe. We feel like we can trust our higher self, that unconditional eternal love. More swords. And the Five of Swords is basically a transformation of our thoughts and our beliefs. It starts off as conflict. We trying to prove that our small t truths rooted in fear are more truer than other people's small t truths rooted in fear, because we all have different ones, right? But when you connect to the higher love, the love from above, then we have that truth that is, the capital T truth. And it allows us to cut away these thoughts and these beliefs and these mindsets that no longer serve us, those that have given us this burden and that guilt and all that anxiety and that fear. And then you have the Star card. Star card is wish fulfillment. This is your higher self too. And so it brings you this wonderful feeling of hope, really understanding the powerfulness of who you are really transforms. It allows you to see things from this higher perspective and see that even in all this darkness, that we are this bright, shining light, and that, this is a one life that we were told that we have to live. And we did come down here intentionally as this lion to experience all this, but we eventually connect back to our higher self. Most of us do. Some of us choose never to wake up in this lifetime because we wanted that full experience of being in fear our entire life. But most of us are not masochists like that. And we've chosen to wake up. And so I love this energy that's coming in for you. Now, it doesn't end here. This is just part one. Now, for part two, choose either A, B, or C to get the second part of your message around what your shadow wants you to know about your heart. So go ahead and click on the timestamp of which one you would like down below. If you chose second option A, then this is the reading for you. Now, if you haven't chose 1, 2, or 3 yet, make sure to go back and do that, because that's part 1 of your message from Spirit around your heart. And this is the message from your shadow about your heart. So we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Power of Surrender deck and get your first message from your shadow. Now, your shadow is a part of you. It's your kind of like your tour guide that helps you through this life. It's in your subconscious is where it lives, in the unconscious realm. And so it is like a tour guide on, like Universal Studios or Disney World or whatever it might be. They know what's going on behind the scenes and below the surface, so they can give you some additional information to have your journey regarding your heart be a smoother one and what they can reveal to you. So we're going to start off here first and see what their first message is here for you. All right, this will be the one right here. And you've got surrender stubbornness. I like it. So it says, if you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. So if you do, kind of have this grrr that wells up within you, just realize that is fear, and that's the fight in the fight or flight kicking in. Something is triggering you where you're feeling, your inner child is feeling unsafe or out of control, and that's why it has the stubbornness. It's trying to defend itself instead of taking some deep breaths and going, okay, this is about me, my emotions. It's not about what someone else is doing to me. This is just unfolding, and I can take a moment, take as long as I need to breathe and to step back and realize, what is it that I'm feeling I need to protect and that I'm resisting? We're also going to pull here a card from the Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck and see what else. your shadow wants you to know around these situations where you feel like you have to defend yourself, like you have to defend your heart. So let's take a look. What else would you like those that chose reading A to know? Okay. What additional wisdom? Okay, it's that one right here. And you've got the Harbinger. Beautiful card there. We'll put that right here. And let's see what message that brings in here. So a light, of course, the lamp here beckons you forward. Bats swirl around this harbinger, but what news do they bring? Numbers tumble down. There's like numbers all around here too. 7 is the number of seeking, of thinking, of moving forward on a quest. 9 marks its territory as selfless and compassion. It's also the number of the hermit in the major arcana of the tarot, which totally reminds me of this because it's usually someone on a path with a lantern. This is you turning upward and allowing your higher self to guide you into the inner recesses, to dive deep of what's below the surface, which makes sense with this being your from your shadow. It says this creature then is showing you that a new journey awaits. The bats may come from our own internal dark place, our subconscious. Rather than scary, they are simply helpers. The numbers are also gifts to you. Study them, learn about them. Be compassionate with yourself, as we were all beginners at some point, and we will all be beginners again. Follow the path of inquiry currently calling you. Open your eyes to see what light is in front of you. This isn't a time for delay, as the call to the journey is now. And while you may want to plan more or think things through, you need to do that en route. Ask yourself what you actually need in this moment. Perhaps you can grab a pen, a snack, and a journal. All else that you require will be found. And some journeys are long while others are short. But when you receive this signal, follow the signs. You will be rewarded for your trust. So things are being brought to your attention on purpose, for a purpose here. And I like this. So the stubbornness, this bubbling up of this resistance inside, this need to defend, is happening on purpose, for a purpose. And your shadow wants you to know that it is being brought up so that you can be released from it. Also, the numbers, trust the numbers. You are getting messages through repeating numbers. Whatever numbers you find that are repeating, if you Google like angel number, 999, you'll of course get like probably a million results. Follow your heart and go to the ones that are drawing you, and you'll find messages for you and clarity for you with that as well. We're also going to pull into the Lonely Woods deck here and see what else your shadow wants you to know here. So what do you want those that chose reading A to know about their heart? All right, here it is right here. And you have the consolations of isolation. There you go. More isolation coming in here. And that is card number 35. Let me just move these out here, more centered. And we will read from this one too. Seclusion can feed the spirit, and with that nourishment comes a rebirth. So many people and beings take themselves away from society and people, from the chatter and the gatherings and the beautiful noise that is our collective. The sense of being separate for a time is nothing to fear, For you are separate, you are unique, and you are experiencing the multiplicity through the oneness of your being. Being alone can heal us and bring us back from the dark place that is loneliness, a state we experience even when we're amongst others, right? Being alone in a crowd. The comforting, healing qualities of solitude are yours, and these arrive spontaneously, unscheduled, without artifice. Your spirit desires you to breathe light right through your entire being until you shine with the radiance that is your soul. That is so perfect, because in the hermit card, within the lantern of the hermit card, that has like a star within the lantern that's guiding you, and that star actually happens to be your higher self. So you are being guided through your path, and this is an invitation from your shadow self to take time for you, take time away to reflect, allow your higher self to guide you in these directions, because it's going to show you here those areas of your life that you're fearing. That's why you're being stubborn. That's why you feel you have to protect it. That's why you're being resistant and maybe feel defensive at times. But this is a beautiful release of your heart, because your heart wants to be free. It doesn't want to be at the whim of these triggers that make it go into fight or flight mode. It wants release. It's asking you to take this time to connect with your shadow, to go below the surface into the unconscious, to find out what's behind these triggers. So I do love that for you. Now, of course, you can listen to as many of these, of the A, B, and C as you want, but that's going to be the end of this one. Now, if you are looking for more messages of love from above, in addition to these pick-a-card readings, I also put out weekly energy updates, monthly readings for each individual zodiac sign, and a few other types of videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of these and get updated immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up by clicking the like button, and by clicking the subscribe button, you're given access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, if you choose the all option, then two things happen. One, you're notified immediately when I post new videos. And two, you're notified when I go live on YouTube to provide free readings. In addition to all of that, it also helps spread the Zen love, and it does help my channel grow in significant ways. Because when you like or share one of my videos, comment on one of my videos, subscribe to my channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so crazy, giddy, happy, excited. It wants to automatically share my videos as recommendations for other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things I mentioned, please know I'm very, very grateful. Also, these are general readings. If you want even more specific information and answers for your specific life, I do offer personal readings, and you can find out all that information on how to book a reading down in the description box of the video below. All right, beautiful people that chose option number A, as you go through this adventure of your heart, please know that every second of every day of your life that you are unconditionally loved by the Mother and Father of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing adventure. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, you hang in there and you take care. If you chose option B, then this is the reading for you. If you haven't chosen your first option, 1, 2, or 3, which is the message from Spirit around your heart, make sure to check that out. And then, of course, you can choose either A, B, or C to get your follow-up message on what your shadow wants to know about your heart. Now, your shadow is a part of your being. It lives like in your unconscious, your subconscious. I always look at it as like a tour guide that's taking you through your life experiences, like a tour guide at Universal Studios or Disney World, somewhere like that, where they know what's going on behind the scenes and underneath the surface. They can give you some great information and make your experience more smooth and give you more information. So we're going to start here with the Power of Surrender deck, and we're going to see here what your shadow would like you to know around your heart. So for those that chose option B, okay, it'll be this one right here. And you've got surrender your ego. And it says, cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. And so there's this great message coming in here from your shadow, from your subconscious, which can be like, your ego is another name for it all too. But it's like allowing your awareness to come forward from your heart. Live from your heart, from service, allows you to move away from this kind of disguise of being ruled by, our fears of losing conditional love. It tries to keep us in the game as much as it can, but it also likes to give you information to help you on your journey, because it is, of course, a part of you. So I like this. We'll get more details here through this Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck. Let's see what else they want you to know around this surrendering of the ego. I like in my life, we're sometimes taught our spirit must destroy our ego, but it doesn't destroy it. What happens is what our ego is hungering for is the unconditional love of back home. But it's told, look out here in the conditional world for that unconditional love that doesn't exist out there. We eventually turn inward and upward, and our higher self, our spirit self, what's made of unconditional love, gives our ego what it is searching for. So our spirit completes and fulfills our ego rather than destroying it. So I feel like this is where your ego surrenders to that love. Let's see what else we have here. For those that chose reading B. Okay, actually, they want this one right here. And you've got, nurture. Exactly. So our higher self nurtures. And I love all the blues that are coming in here as well. So it is our higher self that nurtures our shadow like an adult does a child, like our human adult self can nurture our inner child. It says, when you hold something precious in the palm of your hand, there is a feeling that almost overwhelms. You want to nurture it. You want to provide it with safety and security, with the knowledge that it is unique in this world. This is us talking to our child self, right? Our own hearts are like this. Our creature is wrapped in the embrace of their own arms. They know that the most valuable thing in their lives is themselves. So the energy reflected here is what marvelous act of caring for ourself as if we were truly marvelous. For we are truly marvelous. We deserve this energy as much as anyone else. And the more we cherish ourselves, the more we can nurture others. But when we allow ourselves to be wrung dry, the only thing we can offer is a brittleness of spirit. When is the last time you put effort into nurturing your own soul as though it were the most precious gift? Beautiful. Exactly. So, and this is nurturing our inner child. There's a great book I read last year called The Presence Process by Michael Brown, which has a wonderful, wonderful process and information around becoming that a perfect adult parent we were looking for all our lives, that no human child ever had. It never has the perfect adult that gives you the perfect amount of unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, and unconditional time. And so it's really nurturing, becoming this beautiful parent for yourself. I love this. And we're also going to pull from the Into the Lonely Woods deck and see what else your shadow would like you to know. But this beautiful embrace here, I just love that. All right. So what else for those that chose option B, please? What else would you like them to know? Okay, that's way too many cards. What else, please? All right, there it is. And we have, your presence is a gift to others. I love that. Here's like your adult self and your child self. I mean, literally, I just said the presence process. And here is this nudge. So if you haven't read that book and you feel so inclined, please check that out. It says, sometimes we are alone for so long that we begin to wonder if we still can connect. We ask, what will I say? What if I forget how to behave? We miss the presence of others, yet we fear their rejection, that they will never truly know us. Dear soul, you are lovable. When you find yourself once again with others, and if you fall silent wondering what to do, take a breath and let yourself become aware of their presence and allow your intuition to guide you. You are worthy of friendship and love, and you are very nearly ready to let others in once again. For as you miss others, they miss you too. Your presence is a gift to all who meet you. Again, I just feel like the overall energy of this is like the one to get to know is your shadow self, your ego, your inner child, allowing it to meet your higher self, your adult self, and allow this bonding, this coming together. I mean, because literally there's your big self and your little self, and I feel like that is what this is representing. So I love this message for you. Now, if you are looking for more messages of love from above, in addition to these pick a card readings, I also put out weekly energy updates for each individual zodiac sign, monthly readings for each zodiac sign, and a few other types of videos throughout the month. And if you don't want to miss out on any of these and get notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up by clicking the like button, and by clicking the subscribe button, you're given access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, if you select the all option, two things happen. One, you're notified as soon as I post new videos. And two, you're also notified when I go live on YouTube to provide free readings. In addition to all of that, it also helps spread the Zen love, and it does help my channel grow in significant ways. Because when you like or share one of my videos, comment on one of my videos, subscribe to my channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so giddy, crazy, happy, excited, wants to automatically share these videos with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things I mentioned, please know I'm very, very grateful for that. And these are general readings. If you're looking for even more specific information and answers for your specific life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information on how to book a reading is listed in the description box of this video down below. All right, beautiful people, as you go through this adventure, please know that every second of every day of your life that you are unconditionally loved by the Mother and Father of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing adventure. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, you hang in there and you take care. If you chose option C, then this is the reading for you. And if you haven't selected your number 1, 2, or 3, make sure to click on those, because that'll give you the message from Spirit regarding your heart. This reading is what the message is from your shadow, which your shadow is a part of you. It is your subconscious, your unconscious, your inner child, your shadow. And it's like a tour guide. I like looking at it like a tour guide at Disney World or Universal Studios. They just know what's going on behind the scenes, underneath the surface, so they can give you great information to help your journey be more smoother and to give you more information. So this is what your shadow would like you to know about your heart. We're going to start off pulling from the Power of Surrender deck. So we'll see what your shadow wants you to know about your heart right now. All right, it's going to be this one right here. And you have surrender obsessive thinking. All right. And that says, if you're obsessing about a person or a situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. So I like this. Your shadow is saying that, if there's this obsession, if there's this desperation in your heart over someone or something, surrender to spirit, take deep breaths, take a step back, because you're going to find out here within your subconscious, your unconscious, where this desire is coming from, where this obsessive thinking that you just feel you have to have something in order to be lovable, acceptable, successful, whatever it may be, that there's these thoughts and these beliefs and these mindsets that are basically drawing you for a reason, but the answer lies within your below the surface. So I like that for you. We're also going to get some clarity here through the Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck. See what else they want you to know around this obsessive thinking. What are these emotions that are popping up, right? So let's take a look. What else for those that chose option C, please? All right, that's the one here. And you have pause. There we go. More of the take a step back, right? So let's take a look and see what else they have to say here regarding this. Says Caesura, I guess it's Caesura. It's like Caesura. I'm probably totally mispronouncing that, but that is a break in a verse where one phrase ends and the following phrase begins. In music, this break may vary between the slightest perception of silence all the way up to a full pause. In life, this is a moment you're given to assimilate what has just happened before taking into the next experience. Our musical creature has set his instrument aside to enjoy the beautiful flower his music has conjured up. Rather than just look at it, he immerses himself in the experience by smelling the flower, holding the flower, and gazing into the very center of this bloom. Consider how you approach the pauses that you're given in life. Do you pace restlessly, waiting for the next action? This card is showing you that perhaps it is time to sink into the quiet of right now. Allow yourself to be present by engaging all of your senses. How does this moment feel to you on all levels? Yeah. So again, there's this time for pausing to understand, where's this coming from? What's below the surface? Taking this time alone to be able to understand what is at the root of all this. And then we're also going to pull a card here from the Into the Lonely Woods deck and see what they want to add into that. All right. So what else for those that chose option C, please? What's going on with this pause and this obsession? All right, here it is right here. Just the top one here. There it goes. And you've got the truth comes softly. Yes. So I like that. Being gentle and in this quietude, the answer comes to you. Let's see what else we have here. In the clean space of freedom to witness the self, we can find ways to work with the truths. Truths are not the same as facts. Truths are about our stories and the stories of our lives thus far. Being isolated for a time can mean we begin to understand far more deeply what our stories have become and we begin to know how our stories need to change. The tale of your life becomes more and more clearly written by yourself, without all the suggestions and interruptions, even those that are well meant of others. Let the truth become clearer and clearer until it is in front of you. This truth is your story, and it is yours to write. I really like that for you. So definitely there's a lot of clarity coming through here in the truths about what is at the root of this. And I didn't pull these for anyone else, but I feel like Spirit is wanting me to pull a few cards here from the tarot to understand what's at the root of this thinking. So let's take a look here. What else do they have for you here? Okay. So these 3 cards. So we'll start here with this first one. Okay. So you do have the Star card, which is about connecting to your higher self. The star represents you, your higher self. It's the bringer of hope as well. Very much Aquarian energy about looking at life in a different way. Understanding that the old ways of being, the old ways of thinking just aren't up to date anymore. They're out of date. And so there are some changes to come in here around how you perceive things and how you look at things. Yeah, and here's the Heart of Wands, which would be the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is a very powerful energy. Not only does she roll over the wands, which is your drive, your passion, your inspiration, but all the queens are given water as well, which allows them to have this strong connection to their intuition and to the spirit world. So the Ace of Wands that she holds allows you to understand wherever you focus your energy is what grows and expands. And so when we focus on what is missing in our life, what is in our life that we don't want, that we fear will leave our life or come into our life, then we feed that, we grow it. It expands. That's the powerful being that we are. But if we switch our energy and focus on what we're grateful for, what we do want in our life, unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter, all that expands as well. This Queen of Wands, the Heart of Wands, she can really focus and things can expand and grow, and she can laser focus her energy on what she does want. And so there is this power of stepping in here. In the silence, you're understanding where you're investing your energy and your power. You know, the obsessive thinking is focusing on something we feel is missing in our life and we have to have it. We must have it. But when we realize that we don't, that we are these powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love, we're in need of nothing, truly. And it allows us to focus our energy differently than when we feel like we're in desperation. Yeah, and then here's the Movement of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands, the fastest moving ones, but they're in pursuit of their power. They're in pursuit of this Ace of Wands. So they quest after realizing and understanding, where is it that I'm investing my energy in this world? And I can make a change and I can switch it up. So I like that clarity coming in here because it shows you your power and it shows you where this obsessive thinking is coming from. Take time out, reflect, understand where it is underneath, where you feel this emptiness and why, and then step into your power and know that you can switch up the energies by where you're focusing your energy in each moment. You're either focusing on the fears of losing conditional love or of unconditional love from above. So I love that for you. Now, if you are looking for more messages of love from above, in addition to these pick-a-card readings, I also put out weekly energy updates for each individual zodiac sign, monthly readings for each zodiac sign, and a few other types of videos. If you don't want to miss out on any of those and get updated immediately as soon as they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up by clicking the like button, and by clicking the subscribe button, you're given access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, if you select the all option, then 2 things happen. 1, you're notified right away when I post a new video. And 2, you're also notified when I'm going to go live to provide free readings on YouTube. In addition to all of that, it also helps spread the Zen love, and it helps my channel grow in significant ways. Because when you like or share one of my videos, comment on one of my videos, or subscribe to my channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so crazy, giddy, happy, excited, it wants to automatically share my videos with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things I mentioned, please know I'm very, very grateful for that. And these are general readings. If you want even more specific information and answers for your specific life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is listed in the description box of the video down below. All right, beautiful people, as you go throughout this amazing journey, please know that every second of every day of your life that you are unconditionally loved by the Mother and Father of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing adventure. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. In the meantime, you hang in there and you take care.